So basically, what I'm going to be going over today is a bunch of game pickups that I've gotten over the past few months, dating back about as far as 6 months for some of them. What I'm wanting to do is just go over what I've been picking up. This first batch is going to be everything I've gotten from GameStop, which I know some people hate that store, some people love it. It just depends on your preference on if you shop there or not and your experiences with them. Some of it's from in store, some of it's from online. Most of it is from in store because when you shop online with GameStop, it's a toss up of what you're gonna get. You don't know if you're gonna get the just a disc, a random case, no game in the case. Sometimes that happens, but I'm just gonna go over all this stuff that I've recently got because figured I'd share what I've been able to get from there recently. So first game is Quantum Error. Um, I saw this. I didn't know it was a firefighter on the cover to begin with, but apparently this is a first-person shooter where firefighters are called to a facility that's having some sort of emergency, and then the guy here on the front, he becomes the main character, and he starts battling with monsters and demons. Kind of looks like that. Kind of gives a Dead Space feel. So we'll have to try that out. Next game is Edo Zombie Uprising. So this game just looks interesting to me. I thought it was like a kind of look like a Dynasty Warriors maybe type hack and slash. You're samurais fighting zombies in Japan in the year 1854. So it doesn't seem like you can really go wrong with it. It's just some sort of kind of a beat 'em up of zombies. So yeah. Now, next one is the Miasma Chronicles. I picked this one up just because the cover looked pretty cool. This is a apocalyptic tactical RPG, turn-based, I guess. I don't know much about it other than I thought it looked cool, and I'm slowly building my PlayStation collection, so I figured I'd grab this, to add and maybe play at some point. Definitely looks like it'd be a good time. Next up is A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead. If you've seen any of the movies, then you know what the monsters are in this game. Are going to be in this game. I've seen gameplay of this. Where you have to sneak around to escape the monsters. Essentially, using sand to cover your sound or water. I don't think there's really any combat in this game, from what I saw, because if you've seen the movies, you can barely kill the creatures anyway. So I'm expecting it's just a survival horror type with surviving without actually any combat. Next game is Desolatium. The only reason I picked this one up was I was looking at it in the store and I saw the back cover and the art style, and I thought it looked pretty cool. It kind of reminded me of a game that I've seen before years and years and years ago on Steam called Papers, Please. The art style kind of looks similar to that. Not in how the entire game plays, just certain images from that are on the back of this. So it looked like it'd be a good time. Probably another horror type game with puzzles and things like that. Next game is Gloomhaven. I guess this is a turn-based RPG tactical type game. I don't know much about it other than that it's based on a board game, and I don't play a whole lot of board games, so I don't know, but anything with magic and orcs and elves and dungeon crawler type stuff, I tend to like to play, so we'll have to check this one as well. Next up is War Mongrels. So if you ever played XCOM, that's basically kind of what you're going here. You get a group of people, you do missions, all that stuff. But this one takes place during World War II, where you're obviously fighting the Nazis during World War II. I know, reading reviews and seeing some gameplay, when this first came out, it was a buggy mess. The game was broken, but the developers have since dropped a lot of patches and updates to fix the game. So hopefully it doesn't have any issues and plays fine now. Next game is Sharon's Staircase. If I think I'm saying that right, it's like a survival horror walking simulator, I think, with puzzles. I don't know. It's probably kind of like made of Skur, maybe in that sense. I don't know. I haven't played any of these games yet, really. So maybe I'll have to save this one for October. Play it during that. I'm starting to also look into trying to stream some of these games and play them. Next game is the Turok trilogy, Turok 1, 2, and 3. Haven't played a Turok since the Nintendo 64, so it was rather cheap when I went to GameStop. I was looking at games, so I decided to pick it up. If you ever played Doom, then you've played this essentially. It's just Doom with dinosaurs, in my opinion. First PS4 game is I don't even know how to say this correctly, the Atrium Final Bar Line. It's a rhythm game. So if you like Guitar Hero or DJ Hero, things like that, following the beats, pressing the correct button combinations, you'll like this. Apparently, this one has like all the Final Fantasy music in from all the games that were released up until this point. I've heard it's pretty good. I am just not very good at rhythm games, but I always like to give every type of game a try just to see. You never know. Next game is the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Final Fantasy VII was my #1 game growing up. I loved it. Played it a lot of times. Got the golden chocobo and everything. I don't know about the remake. I know they changed the combat system, but from what I remember, because I haven't played it yet, is that you can also change it to the style that was in the original game, I think. People say it's good, but it is short from what I remember when it first came out. People said, wait a minute, where's the rest of the games? So I know there's like 2 parts to this or whatever. Next game is Persona Strikers, Persona 5 Strikers. Never played a Persona game. Looked like it would be interesting. I keep seeing these everywhere, different versions of Persona. So I figured, hey, why not? Let's give it a shot here. And it's probably pretty cool. I don't know. It may be something I like, maybe something I don't like. But like I said, I'm expanding my PlayStation library because I don't really have one. Next game is Middle-earth Shadow of War Game of the Year Edition. I've played this on the Xbox. It's a good game. This one's supposed to have all the DLC on disc, which is good. So that way you won't miss out on anything. Yeah, good game to get. Next game is Until Dawn, Rush of Blood. I haven't played any of the games in the Until Dawn series, whether the remake or the first one. So I don't know if this is exactly picking up before or after or during the same story. I don't know. I think it's supposed to be an on-rail shooter though, so it's going to be definitely different. And I haven't got my VR set up yet, so I'm not sure how that's going to work out. Next game is Dead Rising Frank's Big Package. This is probably the worst received game in the series from what I've heard based on reviews. I'm not sure why. I don't know what changed after 3 that people kind of hated about this one. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed them the other games for what they were, so I figured I'd give this one a shot too. Next game is Adventure Time. I've played a little bit of this on the Xbox. I know it's like a game where you just run around and battle with all the enemies from this universe. I'm not sure exactly what's happening, some sort of flood or something, and you're trying to fix the bubble gum kingdom or something to that effect. I don't know, but yeah, it's not too bad from what I played. Obviously, it's kind of slow in the beginning. Next game is Looney Tunes Wacky World of Sports. The only reason I have this was it was part of those 4 for $40 deals, and I didn't want to pick up an NBA 2K game or a Madden game, so it's another sports game though. But this one's different than those. Next game is the Untitled Goose Game. I've heard this is a fun game to play. I also noticed when I was looking at the back of the box here with the artwork that it looks a lot like the Donut County game. If you've ever played that, it's not the same play style. It's just the artwork and stuff looks similar. I'm not sure if it's made by the same people or not. I didn't look into that, but I figured I'd give it a go. I've seen a lot of people play it. Next game's Breakfast. Who doesn't like a good demolition derby racer game? Bunch of different modes. It's been out for a while. I've always wanted to try it, just never got around to it. Was able to pick it up pretty cheap. Next game, Sonic Colors Ultimate. It was just to fill in the 4 for 40 deals. I've never really been a big fan of Sonic, but I figured I'll give it a try. I'm not the best when it comes to platformers, and I don't enjoy them as much as most people, but I will play every type of game because you never know what you're gonna like. Next game, 7 Days to Die. This is a game that on computer I've put a lot of hours into, like probably 500-600 hours into. I don't know if this is like the updated version because I know they re-released the new version, so I don't think that this is it. I don't know if it came out on the PS4 or it's only on PS5 because I know they changed the game engine or something like that. So if you get this, there's 2 versions, but you can't play with each other because it's a different game engine now or something. But you're still able to play this with people who have the same editions. Next game is Octopath Traveler 2. Big reason I picked this up, I saw the back of it. It kind of reminded me of the very first Final Fantasy games. The battling and the animations, things like that. And then also another reason I picked it up is because down here at the bottom it talks about the PS5 upgrade. So whenever I'm looking for PS4 games, especially if they were released later on in the PS4's life cycle, when the PS5 came out, a lot of these games have an upgrade. And all you have to do is put the upgrade, or to get the upgrade, is put the disc in the PS5, and it just gives you that game for free on the newer console, which is pretty nice. So then you essentially have 2 versions of this game for free. And usually if you can find the PS4 version, a lot of times it's going to be cheaper. So, but then you'll get the PS5 version. If you have that, you can get it for free. Next game is Singularity, and it's in this case because it was a online order. I mean, it literally came in a bubble mailer, just the disc. I beat this on the Xbox 360. I really enjoyed this game. The multiplayer was surprisingly fun for what it was. Creatures versus soldiers, and I really enjoyed the campaign. I mean, for me, this was a pretty good game. Not everyone's gonna like it, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was. Next game is The Walking Dead Season 2. I've beaten all of The Walking Deads except for the final one, the final season with Clementine and I cannot remember the child's name right now, but those are the only ones I haven't beat. But I've beaten all the other ones, but it's always good to replay them, do different storylines, do different, stuff. It doesn't change the story as much as you think sometimes, with certain small things, but, you can obviously have certain characters die and others not die, and change the story side. It's always good fun to play through. Next game is Silent Hill HD Collection. I mean, it's a Silent Hill game, and you get 2 of them, for the price of 1, essentially. It's the remake for the PS3, upgraded from the PS2, all that stuff. So maybe I have to play this during October, who knows. Next up is History Channel, Legends of War Patent. This looks kind of like a top-down, unit control command type thing. Kind of maybe like, it seems like it would be kind of like how Command & Conquer works, but maybe not exactly. Something similar, though, I would imagine. I can't imagine this is very popular. I've never played it, but I've seen it. And, I like war game, so we'll have to give that a try. Next game is Terminator Salvation. I beat this on the Xbox 360. It's a real quick game. A lot of people don't like it. I thought it was fine. You know, it's the only issue you would have had with it is when it first came out, that if you were paying like 50, $60 for it, and because you can beat the campaign even on the hardest difficulty setting in like 6 hours, you know, pretty easily without really trying. It's not overly difficult, and it's real short. It's real short. Next game is the White Knight Chronicles. I don't know much about this game. It's an RPG. That's all I really know. I like RPGs. I've never played anything in this series, so I don't know what to expect, but I imagine it holds up well. You know, being a PS3 game, you know, I can't see any reason that I would dislike this, but you never know. Like I said, I gave everything a try. Next game is on the Xbox. It's Five Nights at Freddy's. I dislike jump scares as much as the next person, but you know, I don't mind them. I don't like them, but I don't mind them either. You know, if they're there, they're fine. But I'm not gonna go searching for them. But you know, it's just one game that I figured I'd grab because I think this includes more than one game or something. I'm not exactly sure. And you know, like anyone else, I've probably seen a bunch of videos of, you know, movie trailers and the game when it came out way back in the day. So figured I'd give it a try because I've never ever played them. Killing Floor 3. I played a lot of Killing Floor 1 on my PC. Never played them on consoles, so I don't know how well that's going to work. Hopefully you can do mouse and keyboard with this. I don't know if some games are set up to do that, so that would definitely be easier to play, but I've always enjoyed them for what they were, you know, just mindless killing fun. They're probably still based in London too, if it's anything like the first game, you know, running around just shooting a bunch of demons and monsters. So is JoJo Siwa World War Party. Yeah, this is like a platformer. Part of those, you know, it wasn't the 4 for 40, it was the 4 for 20 or something, and I didn't want a sports game because I'm not huge into basketball games or the football Madden games. And you know, I have kids, so maybe one of them will want to play this. I'll probably play it for the gamer score, and that's about it. Next game, Project Cars 3. I do like racing games. I like them when they're more arcadey than simulation, but I'm assuming this one leans into the simulation maybe more than the arcade side, but you can still have a lot of fun with them, so I don't know, we'll have to give it a shot. The one I'm working on right now, though, is the Horizon series, so we'll just have to see what the Project Cars one's about. Next game, Thor God of Thunder for the 360. Probably the same as like the Captain America, you know, game that they came out with, you know, run around, beat up enemies, be Thor, call lightning. Yeah, we'll have to give this a shot. Next game is The Amazing Spider-Man. I've been starting to collect a lot of the Spider-Man games for the 360, and I've yet to play one. I've never ever played a Spider-Man game, if you can actually believe that, which is kind of surprising since it came out all the way back on the 360, and I'm originally a 360 console player. Just never got around to them. They, you know, with everything else that was coming out at the time, I was just never bothered picking one up. So I'm gonna play the series, and hopefully, you know, they still hold up well. I'm hoping. Next game is Madagascar 3. Just trying to complete my Xbox 360 set, so that's why, you know, I'm grabbing some of these games. I don't know if this is fun or not. It's probably just a bunch of mini games with these guys. I don't know. I've never even seen the third movie, so I don't even know what this is supposed to be about. I guess they're in a circus or something at this point. I don't know. Next game is Avatar for the 360, and surprise, surprise, yeah, it was mailed in. It was a mail order, so that's why I got this nice case. Otherwise, I would have avoided it, because I definitely like to pick up my games and get them as complete as possible. So yeah, I probably won't play this game really at all because I know the multiplayer shut down for it. I'm just trying to complete the 360 set, which is a daunting task when you're looking for certain games. And the next one, Iron Man, got it in the mail. No manual, no artwork, nothing like that. Disc is okay on this, but yeah, a little disappointing when you put in on order on GameStop and you get this. I wish there was an option to click like send me a complete copy or disc only, something that would be nice to have on the website so you could. Some people don't care, others do care, but the price is the same regardless of what you're getting. And then, this one is another mail-in from GameStop, Turbo. I think it's supposed to be a racing game with snails, obviously based off the movie. I don't know anything about it other than that, so I'm assuming you just race on tracks and probably upgrade your snail shell or something, and try to win championships or cups or anything like that. Who knows? And then the last one, another just in-case game, is the Godfather game. I'm trying to finish this one. I've owned this game probably 3 or 4 times, and I should have just kept it to begin with, but I just never got around to finishing it, especially those Corleone challenges that were added to like towards the end of this game's life cycle, and then they're not even available anymore on the store to get. So if you didn't buy them to begin with, you're kind of out of luck on that. But this is also one game that it has an update to bring its, if I remember right, the gamer score up to 1,000 initially, because it shipped kind of like what was that game, Condemned, that only had 970 gamer score, which was weird. It was in the early days of the Xbox. People were like, the achievement system, what's that? And we're just doing whatever they were doing. But yeah, so those are the games that they've picked up recently from GameStop, whether it's in the store or online. I just wanted to show you guys what it is I've been getting, and I got a bunch more stuff. I'm going to be showing some things from a few other places, a local gaming store, and like a Paymore. So if you know what that is, then you'll understand. But yeah, drop on by if you like what you see, and I'll be posting these as soon as I'm able.